Hey kiddos, we're going to finish up chapter 5 of our read aloud that we've been reading, and then we'll move on to chapter 6. Hey, I said, what are you doing here? I was happy to see her, but tried not to show too much excitement. I like to get crazy on the weekends, she said, bobbing her head to the slow country music playing overhead. I laughed because I knew she was kidding. At least, I hoped she was kidding. She frowned like she was hurt, then burst out laughing. Gotcha! I'm glad you're here, I told her with a smile. She smiled back. Are you selling a lot of eggs? I was too embarrassed to tell her we had only sold eggs to one person. We're doing okay, I lied. She shook her head and said, No, you're not. I shrugged my shoulders like I was confused by what she had said. Everyone who comes here on a regular basis knows these are Rita's eggs. What's that supposed to mean? I asked with my arms crossed. I didn't know my great-grandma very well, but the people around here better not have said anything bad about her. Melissa picked up half a carton of eggs and studied them. Rita always had rotten eggs in her cartons. She thought they were golden eggs, I whispered. Melissa put the carton down. So, did you start on your paper, Mr. Writer? I shook my head. Not yet. I'm working on something big. Can't wait, she said, clicked her tongue. Do yourself a favor and stay away from Shane. He doesn't do any of his own work. She turned to walk away. Someone has to stand up to him. I had to agree with her. I just wasn't sure if I was the right person to do it. I had never been in a fight, and I wanted to keep it that way. My mom came back to the table with a smile on her face. Okay, so Uncle Mike's job had a position open up, and they want to see me right away. Today, I asked, holding up my hands. She sighed. I hope that's not a problem. It wasn't a problem at all. I had another chance to talk to the fox. I didn't want to pass that up. But there was one thing I had to do before we left. Those hamburgers smell good, I said, holding my stomach as it growled. I don't know how long we were there, but I had smelled the hamburgers grilling the entire time with spices like garlic and pepper. I could use one too, but I'm not sure we made enough money for that, my mom said, picking up the egg cartons. I was so desperate for a hamburger that I pleaded with her. We made $24. How could it not be enough for 2 hamburgers? My mom smirked and spoke in a very serious voice. People around here are crazy. They charge $6 for a half a dozen eggs. She shook her head like it was an unfair price. If they charge for hamburgers the same way, she started to laugh and couldn't finish the sentence. So she tried again. If they charge for a hamburger the same way, then it'll be $6 for half a hamburger. She snorted and laughed like she had just told the funniest joke in the world. All I could do was shake my head. Maybe we had been in the sun too long. Chapter 6, Saturday afternoon. As soon as we got home, I opened the back door to see if I could find the fox. He was nowhere to be found. Maybe he was by the chicken coop again. I'm going to check on the chickens, I told my mom. Not right now, she said, buttoning up a fancy dress shirt. Close the door and come here. I sighed and closed the door slowly, hoping to catch a glimpse of the fox. Nothing. Nada. Listen to me carefully, my mom said when I joined her in the living room. I need to go take some tests for this job. I may be gone for a few hours. I didn't have any problem with that. It would give me more time to find the fox. I could also be my only chance to use the outhouse. Do not leave this house for any reason, my mom stressed. I want you to stay right here and write your paper for school if you haven't done it yet. She nodded her head slowly, like she wanted me to nod with her to show I understood. Okay, I murmured. It wasn't fair, and I couldn't tell her why, but I did need to write the 3 paragraphs about my best friend. This would be the perfect time to do it. She put on some lipstick and headed for the front door. Call me if you need anything. Don't forget there's pizza in the fridge. She hesitated after she opened the front door. I thought for sure she wasn't going to leave. Love you, Mom, I encouraged her. See you when you get back. She smiled and said she loved me too before closing the door. I waited until I heard her pull away before I rushed out the back door. The chickens were roaming their fenced area. The coop was empty. I searched the entire yard. My heart sank when I knew for sure the fox wasn't there. I went back inside and grabbed another 2 sheets of paper from my backpack. I sat on the couch and placed the paper on the coffee table in front of it. I didn't know what had happened to the one from the night before, so I started over again with my best friend written across the top of one sheet. I couldn't go any further. I wasn't sure if I even had a best friend. A large car or truck skidded in the driveway in front of the house. A loud horn honked. I didn't move because I had no idea who it was. My heart stopped when someone banged on the front door. I tried not to move, hoping whoever it was didn't realize I was here. They banged on the door again. I shook every time their fist hit the door. Delivery for Jonah Johnson! A man's voice shouted from outside. Me? I had a delivery? Oh, yeah! The candy! I jumped up and raced for the door. I was scared. I was too late when I heard the driveway truck start to back up. I threw the door open and yelled, "Wait!" A big man wearing shorts jumped out of the truck. Jonah Johnson? I nodded my head. Almost missed you, buddy. He walked over to me with a large box in his hand and a tablet shaped like a clipboard. He sat the box on the ground by me. Sign here, he said. He was pointing to a spot on the tablet as he handed a pen to me. I signed it, thanked him, grabbed my box of candy, and went back inside. I couldn't wipe the smile off my face because I was so excited about all the money I was about to make. I ripped the box open, pulled out 2 small boxes full of chocolate candy bars. I'd have to write my paper later because it was time to go get down to business. I stepped out of the house with the boxes in both hands, closed the door. I didn't even have a key, so I couldn't lock the door. I doubted it would be a problem since we lived in the country, and there were only a handful of houses on this road. My mom said I couldn't leave the house, but I had to do it for both of us. She was going back to work to make some money, and now I had the chance to make some money too. She'd have to be proud of me for helping out. Together we would get the house back. I walked out of the yard with my candy and headed down the dirt road. There were 2 more houses on the right side and 3 on the left. I'd stop at each one and sell as much candy as possible if it went well. And I sold all the candy. I'd do this every Saturday. No one was home at the first house. I was disappointed, but I refused to give up this early. Maybe they went to the farmer's market. I could check back later. No one was home at the second house either. Now, I was getting worried. There were only 3 more houses on this street. I wasn't willing to go down any other streets because I didn't want to get lost. A young man opened a door at the 3rd house. He was wearing a motorcycle jacket and had earrings in both ears. There was a cigarette in his left hand. Yeah? He said. I gulped. I couldn't say anything. I had pictured this moment perfectly in my head. I was supposed to introduce myself and be friendly. That didn't happen. Are you okay, kid? The guy said. I cleared my throat and held up one of the boxes. I could only say one word, and it was in a squeaky voice I didn't recognize as my own. Candy? The man sighed. Oh, man, I bought a box of chocolate the other day from another kid. Strike 3. This was the 3rd house. and I still hadn't sold any candy. I lowered the box and turned to walk away. I felt embarrassed for some reason. "Hold on, kid," the man said. He threw his cigarette down and stomped on it before blowing a puff of smoke out of his mouth. "How much?" I faced him and cleared my throat again. $1 a bar? And with that, kiddos, we're going to stop, and I will read more to you later.